I know all about you, Piers.
Okay, you can think.
And I know how you're good at race baiting. I know how you're good at being transphobic, and that's why I'm here to face you.
Just to be clear,
face you one-on-one.
Since you've raised it,
I'm a black trans woman.
Blossom, stop.
Hey everybody! Thanks so much for joining me today. We have a good one, Tori and I. Hi Tori, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, friend. Thank you for always joining me in these very important. Even though we're gonna laugh, we are, but we're also gonna get frustrated here.
As always, as per usual, a healthy balance of both, I think. Yeah.
Well, yeah, let's just get into this, everyone, because as you all probably know, Blossom, who I've had interaction with, who's a complete grifter and liar as far as I'm concerned. Actually, I'm going to the people out there who hate when I say she, to that, I'm just going to do it because it's just going to come out that way. But that being said, I believe Blossom is a grifter. I believe Blossom is a little bit of a nutcase, and maybe not a little bit, and I think that they use Blossom in these spaces to prove a point that they're trying to show that transgender people are insane. What do you think?
And Blossom does not speak for us. That is really what we want to get across here. Before any of you watch any of this, this is not us. This is not what we stand for. This is not she.
I know. We're just gonna do it. It's fine. Don't worry.
Does not speak for us, and it's just, and you'll see why.
It's cringy upon cringy upon cringy. So I just wanted to have us say that before we want you all to know that this person does not represent us, and I think that we're both frustrated by the fact that Blossom is getting all of this platforming and airtime. And I just came to the conclusion that these major platforms are using Blossom because they're trying to actually prove that transgender people are nuts.
and Blossom will jump on it because she's narcissistic and all about building her platform and pushing herself up there, trying to get to the exposure. It's like, girl, this is not the exposure.
It is sick. And whatever trans community, you're eating yourselves alive. You're eating yourselves alive. And I'll say it one more time before we get into this. I am not part of the trans community, just so you know.
Retweet.
We're not, we do not represent, nor do we want to even be associated with the wing nuts. Okay, let me bring up which one would,
all right, let's get into it.
So has Trump's trans ban unleashed a new wave of misery for trans people everywhere, as some claim, or is he simply restoring much needed common sense in a way that, frankly, most voters fully agree with? But joining me to debate all this is Blossom C. Brown, a transgender activist who sparred with Michael Knowles on Jubilee this week. The great Riley Gaines, who has been a fantastic trailblazer for safeguarding women's rights in all this, is the host of Gaines for Girls on Outkick. You had a front row seat, Riley, at the White House when the president signed that executive order, which was quite a moment. First of all, how did you feel being there for that moment in history, which you've campaigned so hard for?
Well, thank you, Piers, for having me on. Always a joy to be on with you. There was a lot of emotions. Of course, it's a bit bewildering that this is something that's necessary, that a sitting president has to take time out of his day, out of his busy day, to use his executive powers to declare, number one, that men and women are different, and then to further declare that men do not belong in women's sports. But nonetheless, it is necessary. I would argue that it was urgent. So this type of moral clarity and decisiveness is... I just feel vindicated. The past 3 years, me personally, and I know women who have been fighting much longer than I have, the past 3 years, it's been an uphill battle. Not only were we as women, as female athletes, I guess in particular, not only were we ignored and stonewalled, we were actually reprimanded if we dared to oppose this movement. If we dared to even question this movement, we as women were reprimanded.
That's right.
So to finally have a seat at the table and to have a president who is willing to listen to us, I just feel grateful. I feel grateful for God's mercy that we don't deserve, and I feel entirely vindicated.
So
Blossom's body.
I know she's freaking out. She's biting at the bit to get her voice in there. But I'm trying to be nice. But that being said, look. Here's the deal. I'm a female. I was a female athlete, and I was a high-ranking female athlete. No way would that ever fly ever when I was running, and today it should never fly. There is no reason why any trans woman with any morals or ethics would ever think it's okay. The ones who are complaining to run in the women's races are exactly what Piers said, mediocre male athletes. That is my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, I was not an athlete. Really. I mean, I did a little basketball and baseball because my parents were trying to figure out what I would like, and I didn't like any of them.
Sure.
But I totally agree. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It totally makes sense. You hit it on the nail on the head. Piers hit the nail on the head.
Why would
in a shady way, but it works.
But why would we do that? Why would even the trans community think it's okay to actually take away the dreams of a woman and a young girl? Why would we do that? If you want to play on a co-ed team, right? And also go run in the men's place and be a trans woman running in the men's thing. And that could create a whole new sort of category under there, right? It's like the bathroom situation. Why are we using the women's bathroom to create this next space? Why aren't we using the men's bathroom where men don't care who goes in the toilet, right? Instead, we're always encroaching on women's spaces. And I just see it in sports. I see it in this. I see it in so many. And it's not anti-trans for me to say this. I'm saying it as somebody who grew up most of my life in the female space and really having to fight to get those. But back when I ran, you know, women didn't get paid to be athletes. Women didn't get to go to do certain kinds of things. And no one came to see women's sports. Women fought to get to this space. And now a bunch of guys who, that's fine, are trans identified, think they're just going to come over and run all over women, where those records will be broken and they'll never go back to normal right times again, ever.
Right. Because all the arguments about like being on hormones and stuff, your body changes and you lose muscle mass, but
I don't care.
Still, biologically, the difference between men and women when it comes to like bone density and like the structure of the body is different. Like that's evolution. People that believe in evolution.
Look at Blossom.
Evolution. Yeah.
Look at Blossom.
She heard hers powerhouse.
And Blossom says she's been on hormones for 20 years, which I don't believe. I just don't. I don't believe it. But that's just me not believing it, because look at that. Look at that. It's a linebacker. Okay. You could play pro football with that neck and those shoulders and that height, and you are like scary. I sat next to you. Okay.
Well, there's that. You experienced it. You have lived experience.
I'm this big next to Bloss.
You have lived experience. And coming from someone who I know I don't have the best wigs, but girl, if you're going on these shows, invest in better wigs.
The wig. Oh, like, Blossom, you're asking for it. Girl, you're going to get torn up by all the dolls. Sorry, but you let yourself there.
Welcome to the club.
All right. I think that visual of President Trump surrounded by all of these young girls with dreams and aspirations and hopes for a future. I think that visual is one of the most iconic pictures that will come out of and that's saying a lot, considering this man has a mugshot.
Yeah, I mean, the two images I'll be remembering from all that involving you were you with Trump when that happened, but also you being mobbed literally in a vicious, horrible, threatening way by a gang of people wanting to cause you physically harm.
Why is that
because
okay?
you were standing up for women's rights, not least for safety, which seemed to me completely outrageous. Blossom, I can see you making faces there. I've got one question to start this debate with you. Why do we separate the sexes at the Olympics?
Boom!
You know, first of all, I want to say shout out to Cece Tolfer. I've met her before. She is a magnificent person, and she is very bad.
Can't answer the question.
Can't answer the question.
That deflects with, let me give a shout out to another black trans woman. Like, God, you're such a loser.
Can't answer the basic question. So technically, Blossom, why has this always been a thing? Why have we separated men and women? Why?
Why do we have men and women's toilets? Why do we have men and women's saunas? Why do we have men and women's sports? Because they don't know. Because they I don't know. I'm just dying to dig in the background of this person and see where they came from and how they grew up. And, were they bullied, or like, were they a linebacker on the football team and then got into wearing women's panties and that became like a fetish? And then now because of that, I just think like this person is such a bad, really not even, I don't care about the trans part, a bad person inside.
Well,
yeah.
Just from the inside out. I mean, it
Yeah.
it quite literally blossoms.
Yes.
Sorry.
I'm going to have to take out the part where I was like, she was wiggling around to move her, you know what? Because
but that was funny.
YouTube will get me for bullying.
It was funny.
At ASS, and I love her to death.
Who cares?
Let me say this.
We'll come to CC
CC
Telford in a moment. CC Telford might be a fabulous person.
Yes.
I'm going to come later to why I think what she does is completely wrong. But just on the question I asked, why do we separate the sexes at the Olympics?
If you actually, Piers, if you actually let me get to it, because you let Riley have her talking point, so I'm going to actually have my talking point right now. CC is definitely a wonderful person, and I think, let's be clear, Donald Trump is a complete moron. Donald Trump talks so much about waste and fraud, and you're signing a whole executive order.
Here we go.
Of course.
She can't. She hasn't,
Can't answer it.
She can't answer it. She can't get it. It actually proves the point.
Absolutely.
It actually proves the point.
100%.
If she gave a answer, because X, Y, and Z, and when trans women take hormones, they're the same rhetoric that they always say that it diminishes their testosterone, even though Blossom is 7 feet tall and a neck like a linebacker. She's been on hormones for 20 years. Like, she doesn't have an answer for it.
I mean, I would be mad. I guess I would be mad at the world and everyone else too if I was on transitioning for 20 years and still looked and act like that.
God, Blossom, thanks for the comedy.
Yeah, literally. As someone who's been transitioning for almost 7 now, like,
look at you. Oh, but she's a black trans woman, so don't forget.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. She's marginalized. She doesn't have anything.
Let me take several seats.
Oh my God, they're gonna be like, "You're two white privileged people."
Of course.
Yeah. Whatever. Okay, if you want to call me privileged, you go right ahead. That's your prerogative.
Banning trans women from playing sports. According to the NCAA, there are over 510,000 athletes. And within those athletes, there are only less than 10 trans athletes. So you mean to tell me Donald Trump signed an executive order for 0.002 of the population when trans people are only 1%? That's a waste. That is a waste. Trans people exist. There are more than 2 sexes. There are intersex people that exist.
Okay, all right. I have to say something. Here we go. I can almost tell you exactly what she's going to say. She's going to put intersex, which is going to piss intersex people off because intersex people are male and female together. Okay, they're not a different sex. And then intersex people don't want to be lumped into the trans space. They're using them. Okay, number one. Number two, the way she's all 000 point, the numbers keep changing. Do you notice that? They're always making show me I want to know where those numbers are coming from. How do we know that there's that many? What makes a trans person? All of the things that she's just spewing numbers.
Exactly. Because it's just like, what is it? Word vomit. Like, just
that's right.
Not answering the question, as Michael Knowles put, filibustering.
Totally.
Which she doesn't realize she's doing. She's quite literally doing that because not answering the question, throwing something completely out there, accusing, getting upset, getting defensive. Like, girl, you have nothing to argue about.
Defensiveness. That's exactly right. When people get defensive like that, they're hiding something. Okay. That was it. The Shakespeare quote, "Thou protest too much." Like when somebody's literally protesting constantly, something's up. I'm not gay. I'm not gay. I swear I'm not gay. I'm not gay. Like, yeah, okay, dude. Whatever. We caught you in the bathhouse the other day. I don't really care. It's okay to be gay. It's actually okay. Okay.
That it's nothing more than conservative propaganda that because Donald Trump is in power, he is able to use. I think Donald Trump should stop booty clapping to Elon Musk and actually get something done in this country. Wow. And eradicating trans people is not going to be it. And I stand 10 toes down on that.
Yep, we didn't
Okay,
answer the
Hold
question.
up. Wait a minute. You think she has 10 toes? I'm just, I'm not even gonna say it. She opened that one up. Secondly, stop bashing Trump. You know, you lost. You lost because you guys are losers. The Democrats are losers. You liberals, woke weirdos, completely destroyed the whole party, and you lost. The whole country voted for Trump. So you got to sit with yourself and think about why Trump, because you kept pushing this trans agenda on little children and taking women's space.
Exactly. And wouldn't shut up about it. Like, you
Still
don't
won't.
need to like have it your whole identity and not shut up about it to be it. Like, just do it. If you are a born male and you want to be a girl or you want to be a woman, just
That's right.
be a woman then.
Yeah.
You don't have to put it out there every single day and go to clubs that are all about it and surround yourself with only people that are also live in the world, coexist, respect one another, and maybe, just maybe, your life will get better.
They don't want that though, because really, if you took trans away from Blossom, that person would have nothing, zero, nothing. It's actually their full 100% identity. That's all they talk about. That's all they live. They think they're so smart. It's just funny to watch people eat themselves up and go down. And, that's what I keep saying. That's why they use Blossom. They use Blossom to make a point. The conservatives are using Blossom to show that these people are crazy. And you wonder why all the trans rights just literally disappeared in the last.
And you wonder why. Exactly.
You wonder why. These are the people representing that community, not our community, their community.
That's true. You made a good point earlier. I don't think it was on camera, but like this is why they have these people speaking for the trans community, because it makes them look even more crazy when there are people that are sane, that are just existing, like That's you and I, that have put effort, just unspeakable amounts of effort in to pass as the other gender. Like,
you're not asking for anything. You have a job, you have a house, you're not making GoFundMe campaigns to fund your surgery. You're not doing any of the things that these people do,
but
because they feel right. That's right. They feel so entitled to everything, and now they lost it all. They lost it. I don't care. I'll be honest with you, Tori. I've had my passport, my birth certificate, everything changed for probably 20 years or 15, 20 years. I don't even know at this point. I don't care. If they decided next week to put my passport back to female, I really could give to. I've lived this way for so long, and I'm so grounded around it. People will look at it and laugh, and then it will open up. And it's actually, for me, I'm the guy who loves to meet people. So I'm like thinking to myself, it's just going to open conversation, and we're going to laugh about it. And these people who are so proud to be trans, yet they need their gender marker to be the opposite sex. Well, then you're actually contradicting yourself, because if you're so proud to be trans, then just have that trans passport, and then you'll just have to walk through and say, I'm trans. That's all you're gonna have to do.
And like, is it something that you look at every day? Because I'll tell you, I don't look at my passport every day. I don't look at my driver's license.
You don't even use it.
I only look at my driver's license if I get like pulled over or have to put my driver's numbers in for whatever. I'm like, I don't honestly look at it. Like, I know it's there. It's nice because it's what I'm giving on the daily basis in where I live. But like,
it's not going to, you can leave, every single trans person can leave this country. Everyone, your passport just has to be your biological sex. Sorry. That's the no more X's, no more nonsense, no more Z's, M's, Z's, none of that nonsense. It's like, no, you guys open the door for this. It just blows my mind when people don't take responsibility for the reason why things are happening, and they won't. They'll never take responsibility for it. But I just wanted to put that out there. Like, I don't care. I don't really care if someone sees F on any of my stuff. It's like, I'm so grounded in my space, and I don't need that. They need I think what I'm trying to say is they need this validation. They need it. They cannot live without it. Right?
Yep. Which is created from that whole woke mindset, this whole group of people that cannot think anything other than what their little group thinks. They don't live in the real world. They live in delusion. 100% delusion. And that's what you and I are always calling out, but then people call us all kinds of things. And I'm like,
that's right.
You guys are seriously.
That's because they're envious. You can see the envy. They're very envious of people like us who have made the effort. And let's try to get through a little more of this insanity.
I'll say very briefly, this argument that it's a small percentage of the population, I hope you realize it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. It's not for every one male that's participating in a women's sport, it's one woman that's affected.
Right.
In my sport, at our national championships, one male displaced 14,000 women. And I can speak for myself. I can speak for my teammates. I can speak for 99% of other female competitors on that pool deck. We all felt betrayed. We all felt violated in the locker room. We all felt it was unfair, but not enough people were courageous enough to say it because they were terrified. They were terrified of the name calling that you just pursued. Even, I mean, the first thing you say is Donald Trump is a moron. What 20-year-old girl wants to be called transphobic or any of the slurs that have been thrown my way? I can certainly attest to. Piers mentioned,
Riley, I think you're trying to, Riley, I think you're just trying to make it seem like that trans people are a threat to cis women in the restroom, and that's not the case. Trans women and cis women should be coming together. Trans women are not a threat to cis women.
Okay, but here's the look. But Blossom.
And I think that y'all have ran on that ideology.
Yeah, Blossom.
Y'all have ran on that ideology
Blossom,
for a very long time.
hang on.
And you're going to have to specifically tell me cases. Can you specifically tell me cases
like a child
where trans women have hurt cis women in the restroom?
Blossom.
I'd like to know that,
Blossom.
Like a
we
child.
don't use things like words like cis on here because no one understands it. Let's just...
well, I use cisgender, so that's where I
I'm sure
come
you
from,
do,
and
but
that's
nobody...
what I like to use. That's my vocabulary.
Yeah, but nobody else understands it. Let's just stick to my question. My question for you, which you have...
just because
hang on,
you don't understand, you just don't have the intellectual capacity.
Blossom.
Piers. You don't have the intellectual capacity to understand.
Oh, nobody has.
Just to explain something. You're appearing on a show called Piers Morgan Uncensored. That means you can say whatever you want.
I know all about you, Piers.
Okay, you can think
and I
what
know how you're good at race baiting. I know how you're good
race
at
here we go.
to face you.
Just to be clear,
face you one-on-one.
When do you think I've ever race baited?
Crickets.
Honey, you remember that whole incident with Sharon Osbourne?
Crickets. There was like a long ass pause there. See, there she goes again. I'm a black trans woman. Race baiting, transphobia. There's a cis women. She's using all the language.
Flips everything around on the other person. It's Darbo again.
Yes.
Literally again.
Ooh, like she just, it's so great. I just love
race
it.
Baiting.
Race baiting.
Who is the very first person to bring up race every single time?
There you go.
Who?
There you go.
Literally Blossom.
Totally killing herself. Just killing herself. Like, God, it's so cringy.
Yes.
Let's not forget.
Oh, no, I do. Oh, no, I do.
But
what do you
we're not
think?
here to talk about Miss Sharon Osbourne.
No. What do you think happened there?
We're not here to talk about Miss Sharon Osbourne.
Yes, what do you think?
We're here to talk about trans people in sports.
Hang on, you've raised...
You are notorious.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about the Sharon Osbourne thing. Let me tell you what. Since you've raised it.
I'm a black trans woman.
Blossom, stop talking for a moment.
So many times.
Been there for that moment in history, which.
All you have. That's all you are.
Did it. She's so gaslit the whole thing back to race. I'm a black trans woman. You're a racist. No one's even talking about the color. We're talking about women's sports.
Yes. Nobody is talking about everything's inherently race involved. Does it have to be?
No, it does not. And you could get through the whole conversation. It's all her deflection. It's her deflection. She is crazy. She's
got nothing to say. Nothing of value to say. There's no facts to back everything up. Everything's what's the word?
Disgusting.
Yeah. Perfect. No, her lived experience as a black trans Buck, I didn't know if you know this or not. She's a black trans woman.
I didn't know. Don't speak over a white trans man. Don't do it. Right. I'm going to start saying that. I'm literally going to start saying that. Don't start speaking over a white trans man.
Absolutely.
Like, what? Okay, wait. Let's just see. There's a little bit more here. It's so good.
Talking for a moment.
Me off so many times since I've been here.
Okay. I know. I love that.
Can we have a conversation, please?
You give the white girl all the time to talk.
Can we have a conversation, please?
And the black girl is having to speak.
Actually, at the moment, the black girl is doing all the talking. So hang on. Can I just say something, please?
Riley's off.
All right.
That's my view.
Blossom, stop talking. Support for today's show comes from a business focused on the critical issue, prosperity.
Oh my God.
Can we get an actual fact check on the airtime Blossom had just saying nonsense versus Riley saying facts and Piers
facts.
saying like, can we actually? Oh, but you gave the white girl. Shut up.
You give the white girl so much time. You literally spoke over the white girl. You literally spoke over the white man. You were just like, all you talked about was race.
Literally. And
she's
later in the interview,
she's the actual race baiter.
100%.
Yeah.
And later in the interview, she literally says black people can't be racist.
Oh my God. Like I'm just done. That's it. Like, any people we can't look at her anymore. We can't, the thing is, I don't even want to give Blossom airtime. I'll be honest with you. But we had to do this today because Tori and I just text each other like, wow, I'm so like, we were just so upset about this because, I think more for you than me because of being a trans woman. And these is on some level a representation more of you than me. I just can't even imagine how you feel. I feel so sad for the whole thing.
Well, and then the whole fact that it's still only trans women that are getting this like talking point, this air
platformed. Totally. I don't get that opportunities as much. Why aren't I on? And whatever. I'm not that kind of guy. Like I should be on that show. Like have any trans man. Yeah, I don't care. Have any trans man who is also going to have a different opinion than the trans community. Have Marcus Dibbs or the offensive tranny. Go ahead and have him. Have somebody who's going to have the same opinion as me on those shows. Jubilee used to have me on all the time. They stopped having me on because I don't side with because it's a woke show now. And it wasn't when it first started. I probably did 5 or 6 Jubilees when it used to be actually very, very
middle ground,
unbiased. It was actually middle ground. And then it just turned into a woke crap show.
But yeah, no, that whole interview. I mean, we don't have time to watch it all, but people should actually watch that whole thing because it's just literally shooting ourselves in the foot as a trans community.
Totally. I have to write something down here because I want to maybe put it in the title. I think race baiter. That's such a great term. She's always saying everyone's race baiting, and like she's the ultimate race baiter. The ultimate.
Yeah. Oh
God, so gross. So,
but who are we? We're two white trans people.
Privileged. We're white privileged, thin. Oh, you wait. I did one that's going to come out. You wait. Thin. Someone said
care of ourselves, care about our health.
Literally said I acknowledge my privilege as a white, thin, trans woman. I'm like, what does thin have to do with anything? What now? It's thin. Oh my God!
It doesn't end. It
doesn't end.
The identities never end. Just pick one. Pick one for the day.
Oh my God! So thanks, Tori, for joining me. It's really it's hilarious, but it's not. It's actually barfy.
like we said in the beginning, it's gonna be a mixture of comedy and just frustration. And that's what you got. I really hope that's what you guys got because that's what we got.
Well, they love you here, so that's the great thing. And also, thanks for being a really beautiful, awesome, on many levels, not just physically, but your intelligence, everything, a representation of transsexual women that I think the world needs to see. And you by just being present and having these conversations, you're helping to bring back sanity and also save us. I think what's the word I'm looking for? Like we have. We're trying to save ourselves, if that makes sense. Yeah. We're here because we also need to save ourselves from being eliminated with all the rest of the taking out the trash.
Lumped in.
That's
we get
right.
lumped in, yeah.
That's
and
right.
people are like, why are you supporting people that are trying to get rid of us? Because it's like, they're not trying to get rid of me.
They're not trying to get rid of us. It's you.
They don't care.
They're taking out the trash. And we're the part of the recycling. We're not the trash. We're supposed to be in the recycling bin.
Love it. Yes, we are the recycling. Never forget. We're just recycling.
Oh my God. Thanks, Tori. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thanks everybody for joining us. Love you guys. Leave us awesome comments like you always do. You can leave bad ones if you want, but whatever. Anyway, we don't care. We actually don't care. So we'll see you guys. I'll see you guys on Wednesday, and then I'll bring Tori back for a new next one. And thanks for supporting the channel, and thanks for helping us get our voices out there, and thanks for seeing us sane trans people. And have a beautiful rest of your day.
Bye.